Prime Minister Modi's new cabinet has inducted several new ministers. The cabinet has also seen ministries which have been clubbed together. Health and Chemicals Ministry has been clubbed. Education Ministry has been clubbed with skill development. Ministers of I&B, Health, IT also have their tasks cut out for them. Will they rise to the challenge is of course the big question. Joining us live is Ajay Datta, founder and CEO, Data XGen Technologies. We also have Dr. Amrita Das, Director ICS, joining us live. Padma Shri Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairman and MD Nephron, is joining us live. Sumit Peer, political commentator, is also live with us on the program. Amrita Das, getting you in here on education. Education Ministry also seeing a change. The incumbent has also stepped down. So it's quite interesting that health, IT, telecom and education, all three of which our guests today are speaking on. You three are eminent experts in this field, but the current ministers have all stepped down for whatever reason. Education Ministry also seeing an overhaul. Dharmendra Pradhan taking over Education Ministry at a time when we're seeing new changes come in on examination patterns, and of course schools still haven't reopened. As far as this ministry is concerned, Amrita Das, what are the priorities? Do you believe an overhaul was needed, and what are your expectations ahead?
Thank you so much for bringing me on. I'd like to start by congratulating Shri Dharmendra Pradhan for becoming the Education Minister at this very, very critical juncture. He has been a teacher, he's an educationist, and he's a proven leader. So we are indeed very fortunate that we can now fast forward the reforms mandated by the new Education Policy 2020. Here there are three broad elements which we would need to look at straight away. One is the teaching learning process, which is to be student-centric. So that has to be designed in a very imaginative and pragmatic way. Teacher training to implement this system. And another very, very important fact, which has left a lot of traditional schools very, very perplexed, is the doing away of the silos, the streams of science, arts, and commerce, because the emphasis is on interdisciplinarity, which means better planning to offer students subjects across all science, arts, commerce fields to bring out the best in them. Also, the reforms in the examination system have been set into motion by the recent announcement, and this is for 21-22. However, for the next few years, we would need to consult educational experts across the board for proper planning, so that the ongoing continuous assessments, the unit tests, project work, various exploratory activities are assessed in a scientific way, keeping in mind the holistic development of the student. Here, a very important suggestion has come up, and I think this would make a difference. Presently, students are assessed in class 10, 11, not much happens, and then there's a final assessment in grade 12. What is being suggested, and I request our Education Minister to kindly look at it, is to convert 11 and 12 into 4 semesters with exams in the first and third semester on an MCQ basis, which would be case-oriented with assertion and reason questions, and will test the application of knowledge and cognitive skills. And the second and fourth semesters to have subjective tests, so 40% weightage for the MCQs, 60% for the essay type. This way, grade 11 would be taken seriously, and the final grades of both exams, if reflected, would lead to great learning outcomes. There'll be a continuum, because presently, just high marks at the end of 10 and 12, based on rote learning, have led to the dumbing down of education. They don't really reflect the true knowledge of students or their understanding of their subjects. Next, it is very important to upgrade countrywide infrastructure. And I'm so glad that there's this convergence of ministries. We talked about IT because we've got to remove the digital divide. That's so important. At present, we find that there are students who have the advantage of smartphones and connectivity, and the others then are at a disadvantage. We need to bring them on a level playing field. Then another very important aspect is to develop employability skills right from the very beginning to tap 6 quotients in each student: the intelligence quotient, the emotional, social, creative, spiritual, and tech quotient. And this will happen through participation in co-curricular activities, projects, group work, and much more. Out of the class activities are so important to connect with real life. Another important suggestion is that there's a big gap between school education and college and university education, that is, institutions of higher learning. Now, we need to create a bridge with multiple pathways as suggested by NEP 2020, which has to be flexible, because today most careers are open from any subject stream or combination. So we need to relook at very stringent stereotypical eligibility criteria, which we have today for admission in colleges and universities. Next, to make all this possible and to bring out the best in each student, to realize each student's potential, career guidance and counseling is absolutely essential. I would say from grade 8 onwards. Initially, it will be more educational guidance, and then it will move to making the right subject choices, the right course at the right campus, and developing a career portfolio that would bring together each student's aptitudes, interests, talents, passion, aspiration. Today, the world is their stage. A universe of opportunities awaits them. Finally, like the University Grants Commission, it is essential to have an umbrella body for all schools, a regulatory body for all schools, which would give schools the flexibility to implement the NEP, but also set standards. Now, this is a big wish list, but these are all doable points, and I do hope that they'll be implemented at the earliest.